we'll open this up one more time for public comment. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name. Bill.
Hi, I'm Bill Hurd. I'd like to comment on the ethics. It's my understanding in reading the code and the ethics handbook that there's something about relatives to a third degree of affinity, whatever that means. But I think that means children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and grandparents, and great-grandparents, and great-great-grandparents. If any of these people would benefit by an action, then that would be grounds for either disclosure or abstaining from voting, recusing yourself, just as if that were yourself. So if any impact on these related people, and it's even in-laws and things like that, if you should treat them the same as yourself in disclosing conflicts.
The word consanguinity.
Yeah, and it also includes anyone that you have an ongoing business relationship with, or anyone who has influence over you or you have influence over them. I mean, there's a very broad description of the class of people that an individual on the board must be concerned with in making a decision to recuse or disclose. And then, in a broad sense, anyone who knows anybody or is close to anybody that owns any water shares, if you want to be strict about it, should recuse themselves from any purchase or sale agreements of any kind regarding water, because any purchase or sales agreements determine a price, and that could influence the value of the water that is owned by that person or his affiliates.
Thank you, Bill. Any other comments at this time?
Yep.
Mr. Haviland. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Cory, Clemetson, owner of Wolf Creek Golf Club. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I just want to follow up with Bill's presentation, and I didn't hear when you're going through the ethics and the NRS. I have it here magically from our legal counsel today. So NRS 281 is .065 defines such conflicts of interest to include the private interest of the public officer or employee's family relatives within the third degree of consanguinity or affinity. So third degree. And in furtherance of the public policy against such conflicts, the law requires public officers and employees to, 1, disclose their conflicts of interest every time a matter implicating the interest is considered, and this is the key part, 2, abstain from voting or advocating on any matter materially affected by the officer's or employee's aforementioned familial relationship. So that's what the law says, and our legal counsel a little different interpretation, I think, as you were bringing respectfully. But our summation is if somebody family owns water shares and they're on the water board, they should recuse themselves because the value may benefit a member of their family. So we think it's pretty clear. Thank you.
There's a fail-safe way to prove that is just file a complaint.
Oh, and just so, if I have 1 more minute, just so you're clear, my company is real serious about ethics. Should somebody do that, we will file a claim, and we'll keep all of our options open.
I did it.
And we'll adjudicate it. We are so serious about it because we think the integrity of the public is very important, especially as we take such a leadership role in this community. I would say that if anybody were to cross that bridge, and we hope that doesn't happen, we'll keep all of our legal options open in any legal form that we can. We'll pursue. Thank you.
So does that count Ms. Raymaker, since
No,
she
it's
is a member of
she doesn't have
your
she's
foundation board and has a pecuniary interest in the success of that foundation board?
the foundation board?
Yeah.
The foundation board doesn't profit one thing with Wolf Creek. It's a charity.
She's
Okay.
a sitting member on it.
All right. You try your legal theories, we'll try ours. We'll see who's successful. See ya.
We know
Thank you.
Thank you, Cory.
Curl up.
Yeah, it's time for.
That one would surprise me that that is a conflict. I mean, looking on a nonprofit committee on a board, so maybe that's something you could check into
Yeah,
to
would
see
be,
if that is.
yeah, I don't have any information about that board, that's.
Public comment.
Yes, okay.
Any other public comment?
Off of the board.
Awesome.
It's all sports.
Okay.
I mean, go ahead. And then,
I just, one thing that I would like to say is when we're talking about the water shares and the fact that, yes, I agree for some to go to SMWA, my whole concern, and it has been the same as always, is that they're priced so high that the people here locally cannot use them, and so our best alternative is to send them somewhere else. And so that's my concern, is the fact that the rates are high enough that our local people can't use them when it comes back up to that other price, that's all.
Mr. Haviland.
Just, point of clarification. We're talking a lot about water shares, just so you know, the irrigation companies own the water and you are a stockholder in the company. I think a lot of times we think that you own an actual permitted water share. That is held by the irrigation companies. So maybe a little, I don't know, you can look at it different ways. You can look at it too, that the water district owns all the water and you as an individual member own a portion of that water from there with your will serve. I don't know, maybe just a little different way to think about it, but you are a stockholder in an irrigation company, just like the Virgin Island Water District does not own any water shares. They own a stock in the Bunkerville and Mesquite irrigation companies. And it's maybe a point of clarification, just people understand that you actually own a permitted share. A lot of times when you own a water share per se, we say that. You actually own a stock in a water irrigation company, just so you know.
Thank you, Brian. Mr. Hurd?
Well, where I worked, which was for NASA, if you owned stock, any significant amount of stock in a company, you could not participate in any decisions doing business with that company. Or if your wife owned shares in it. So just to say that you own shares rather than stock rather than the shares, that makes no difference ethically.
And I'd just like to add, I think it's just, sorry.
Mr. Clemetson?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. I think it just comes down to benefit. Is your family benefiting off of a share price? You know, and that's open for interpretation. I mean, it just really is. If it's a benefit. And if it's going to benefit your dad or your brother or a cousin,
Cousin,
you know,
cousin doesn't fall under the third degree.
well, it's a third degree. I don't know, does it?
I think
No,
it
it
does.
doesn't. An uncle or an aunt does, a cousin doesn't.
Okay.
It's third degree.
Okay. Well, let's say it's your father, your mother, your uncle. If it's benefiting, you should recuse yourself. And even the optics look bad, so it's an easy one, I don't think.
Thank you. Any other comments at this time? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comment, and we will